Okay, so are you ready?
I am.
Okay, as usual, today our topic is strange American cultural habits. As usual, John, please introduce yourself and especially your career, what you are doing. Okay, please.
Okay, great. So my name is Joe Martins, and I'm a former software engineer, a business analyst, marketing. I've done several roles with Fortune 500 companies and the defense industry in the U.S. And 5 years ago, I began working with Chinese manufacturers to help them market into the Western countries. And I discovered the need for more conversational English skills in China. And that is what I'm doing these days, helping people to become more comfortable with speaking English and having conversations in English.
Okay, also let me introduce myself. My name is Lyu Guo, the founder and the chairman of Beijing Suntrans translation company, and the CEO of New York Suntrans Consulting LLC. I received my PhD degree from China University of Geosciences and jointly cultivated by China University of Sciences, Chinese Academy of Sciences, and Miami University in the United States. So I previously worked for the globally largest mining company BHP Billiton, and also worked for the overseas strategy research office of China Geological Survey. In the past 12 years, I focused on translating geology mining and opened Suntrans. And in the past 10 years, I went to more than 30 countries to help Chinese people to purchase mines and oil fields in different countries. And so now our Suntrans headquarters is located in Beijing and at the gate of Tsinghua University. And what's more, our New York Suntrans Consulting LLC also have been 7 years history. And what's more, in Toronto, Canada, and in Africa country, also Uganda, we have a branch office, and in Pakistan, Lahore city, we have one branch office. So sometimes we also organize our clients to have a training in mining investment and special English for mining and geology. So today we will give a speech or have a conversation between myself and John. John is still in America, so it's almost a very deep night, very late. Thank you for your work. It's so late, and as we know, today's topic is strange American cultural habits. John, can you tell us why do you choose this topic?
Because many people, they're just interested in different cultures, especially when cultural habits differ from their own. And when you travel, it's also helpful to understand the cultural differences so that you know what to expect. And in some cases, it's just curiosity. You know, we want to know about cultures different from our own.
Okay. And let me remind our audience to say hi to everyone, because now about 16 audience have entered into our space. Let me remind them. 各位朋友，大家好。那么今天我和 John 一起来做这一个节目，主要是讲 美国的一些奇特的这些文化习惯。我们看到现在已经有16个伙伴呢加入了这一个直播间。那么到的朋友请回复1 ，Please reply 1。As long as you enter into this group, so that we can know who has arrived. 请签到，大家可以签到。when you arrived， 你到了之后呢，大家就签到。我们看有哪些熟悉的面孔或者朋友已经进入这个直播间了。我们请大家互相打一个招呼。About 70 people。另外呢，也提醒大家，如果只要你看到今天的这个英语节目呢，如果对你和你的周围的朋友有帮助，请你转发到你的朋友圈里以及英语爱好者群里，这样我们可以大家一起来聊一聊一些国际文化以及提高语言。OK， now let's move to okay, just go. We have introduced our the two speakers. One is myself, the other is Joe Martins from Street English. Okay, and the first topic: why do many Americans prefer cold drinks and water? We know most Chinese people like hot water or warm water with tea. America, of course, in America, I know when people really want to drink tea, they also use hot water. Maybe they have to, but in most cases, people usually just drink cold water. What's the reason? What's the difference? Can you tell me the reason? I'm also very curious about this issue.
Okay, so basically, we don't think of the health benefits in the same way that people in China think of, warm drinks. Why warm drinks warm the body? We don't think of it in this way. We think that cold tastes good, since we are brought up from the time we're children. We're brought up with cold drinks, unless our parents are from countries that prefer warm drinks. So oftentimes, from a very, very young age, we are accustomed to having cold drinks. And it also, for us, many of us, it tastes good. If after exercise, after you sweat, a cold drink to us just tastes really good. We even, by the way, we also have tea you can buy with ice.
Even in cold winter, very chilly weather,
yeah.
Still people drink cold water with ice.
I drink iced coffee in the middle of the winter.
Okay, iced coffee. Firstly, it's it may be very hot, but gradually become cold, and you even put ice into or.
Oh.
So the taste is cold coffee.
Yes, the reason that I do is I like to drink coffee sometimes quickly, and if it's too hot, I cannot drink it quickly.
In order to save time.
Yes. A big like this, big cup like this. With ice.
Okay. This is just a phenomenon. Can you tell me the reason why, especially in China and in America, people have different habits? Cold water and hot water.
I think it really is historical. The adding of ice probably in the north part of the U.S. because northeastern U.S. is where the first settlers settled.
Okay.
When they came over from countries like England.
Yeah.
So, in this cold part of the country, you would think that, why not drink more warm drinks?
Yeah.
But we also had a very large ice industry.
Yeah.
When the lakes and the rivers in wintertime would freeze,
Yeah.
we would cut the ice out of the lakes and the rivers and sell it to people to keep their food cold, to keep their liquids cold. So it's just part of the history of early United States. But there's no practical reason. You would have to drink a lot of hot or cold water to change your body temperature. Drinking a cold glass of water will not make you cold. In the same way that drinking a warm glass of water really will not make you warm. It feels this way, but scientifically, it doesn't really change your body temperature.
Which is more scientific, hot water and cold water, even water with ice?
Oh, in the U.S., we think neither one. They both we don't believe that they change body temperature enough. You would have to drink a lot in order to change your body temperature, even a little bit. So we don't think about the science behind it. We just say we prefer cold water, and it's I would say the majority of Americans prefer cold water.
Okay, can you let me give you some explanations why such kind of a phenomenon happened, and as my personal understanding, maybe some is not very scientific, just as far as my personal experience is concerned. Maybe in the history of in the Chinese history, the water is not drinkable enough. Most water may be polluted with bacteria, not very healthy. So later people find the one phenomenon that as long as we heat the water until it is boiled, and most of the bacteria will be killed, so we can keep keep healthy. This is one reason for myself. Another reason may be because for America, maybe in, American people have most American moved are from other countries. They move immigration just because of immigration. A lot of people moved to America. At that time, human beings have been comparatively very developed, so that most of the world, even everyone's home, the water is drinkable and very clean, and don't have to filter the water or to heat the water until it's boiled. So and maybe the quality of the water, the cleanness, is clean enough so that many people think, oh, we don't have, doesn't matter, the water is drinkable. Everyone's home, don't have to heat it. Do you think so? Or
yes, I would agree with that, and I would say that most, not all, but most of the United States has drinkable treated water. They chemically treat it, and it's most places drinkable. There are places in the U.S. that do not have drinkable water, that they still must heat it or buy bottled water.
Yeah.
But most places do have drinkable, and that probably does help that we don't have to feel like we need to heat it
Okay.
before we drink it. So there may be some truth there.
I guess another reason, maybe in ancient China, in China the tea leaves are tea leaves was very developed, so that Chinese, tea leaves contains a lot of vitamins, very nutritious. So we must heat the water and or use put the tea leaves into boiled water, and then a lot of nutrition or vitamins will be released, so that the tea will be healthy to our body, beneficial to our body. Do you think so?
Yeah. Especially tea is much more popular in China. We do drink a lot of tea here, but not as much as historically as much as China. We have a lot of other types of drinks that Americans tend to drink, like soda, water, coffee. So tea is just not as popular, and I would say most Americans have never seen the variety of tea that is available in China. It's amazing. I was shocked. I could not believe how many different teas were available in China. Here, many teas come in little bags. They aren't loose. What we say loose tea.
Yeah.
They're purchased in tiny little bags. So oftentimes we can't even see the tea because it's inside a little bag. But very tea is just much more popular in China, and I think that also does play a role in why you're heating water there much more than here.
Okay. And let me consider another factor. Just because as far as temperature is concerned, normal room temperature is about 20 degree, Celsius degree, and for our body usually about 37 or 36 degrees, and for the iced tea, that means 0 degree. For the boiled water, that is 100 degree. I think yesterday we used one word, that is cast iron stomach. Cast iron, our stomach sounds like is made of iron. Actually, we are muscle. We are human beings. We have a lot of cells. Our body cannot endure some water with too high temperature. So if too cold, maybe if the water is too cold, our stomach maybe contract very quickly. So it's not good enough for our body. So I guess in my personal understanding, of course without any scientific research or investigation, I guess the water close to the room, our body's temperature, that is to say about 37 or 36, is much better for us. We will feel comfortable. Do you think so? Too high is not good. Too low is not good. Close to our body's temperature, it should cannot. It should be better. Do you think so?
Well, I think extreme temperatures always are more difficult, right? If you have food or drink that's too hot or too cold, but some people, we're just strange.
Mm.
We drink cold things so cold that our brain hurts, but we still drink it. In America,
Yeah.
we will eat a spoon of ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
and we call it brain freeze. It's when your brain hurts because the ice cream is so cold in your mouth.
Okay.
But instead of saying, okay, I stop, I'm not going to eat any more, we say, oh, I'll take another bite. So it's a little crazy. I think if some Americans tried warm water, they might like it. I have tried it, and sometimes I like it. So
Okay.
in China, sometimes I drink cold. Sometimes I drink warm as well.
Yeah. And about water, so as a quality, maybe quality and as a quality of water is one reason, and the temperature is one reason, and so would you like to also list American, for most American people, how about the beverage? When they drink a beverage, they also like a cold beverage or some beverage. Which do they prefer? I mean, cold or warm or hot beverage, various beverage.
It really depends on the person.
Okay.
So, for example, when I buy a coffee, I oftentimes buy two coffees, one cold, one hot. And so I actually drink two coffees that are different temperatures.
Yeah.
Out of habit, just habit.
Yeah.
So some Americans will prefer really cold drinks, but some will also be just as happy with a hot coffee or hot tea. It depends on the parents, their ancestry. You know, if they came from countries that preferred warm drinks, chances are the children will also prefer warm drinks. My family came from England, Spain, Portugal, France, so a lot of Europeans, and I have a preference for cold.
Okay. Let me also ask one question. You know, globally we find different areas. People have the weather is different. For example, in some European countries like some Russia, a lot of people are they seem very tall. But in Hong Kong or Sri Lanka or some Southeast countries, you see a lot of people are not very tall enough, even very short. And so the weather will affect the people's body. And if the weather is very cold, the people who are living in such kind of environment, they may grow bigger and bigger. But in warmer or very hot places, people maybe every day they have a lot, they produce a lot of sweat, so that a lot of energy will leave from their body and from their bodies. So the weather, cold or warm, will affect their height. They are tall or short, and I'm wondering if the cold or warm water or hot water will affect people's height or not. I'm not sure if you have some scientific data or research.
No, I couldn't tell you intuitively. Drinks, when you drink something, it's a very small quantity. So your body has much more mass. And a 1 liter drink has very little mass compared to your body. So that 1 liter drink really isn't going to make you colder or warmer. Your body is going to change the temperature of that drink as you're drinking it. It's going to warm it up or cool it down if it's a hot drink. And temperature outside in, let's say, Netherlands or in South America, that's different. That's a constant temperature change on a big scale. So your entire body is being subjected to the cold or to the heat. Very different than a small quantity of a liquid. It would be the difference between hopping in a hot pool or cold pool of water or drinking a hot or warm drink. Very, very different effect on your body.
Okay, maybe.
But I'm not a scientist.
Because my first bachelor degree is about biology. I studied cells. We know our bodies are composed of cells. So many cells. The metabolism happens in cells every minute, every second. And if we drink a lot of hot water, the metabolism may happen very frequently, so that as we know, our cells cannot produce generations without limit. Maybe our life maybe for normally if we don't, everyone doesn't suffer from some illness. Maybe a person's lifespan can last about 150 years. But if we are hurt, maybe our life is only about 80 years or 90 years, not so long. But it is we live longer or shorter. Just it is decided by our cells, our body cells, and in cold places, some weather is very cold. These people, the metabolism will be reduced very, very slow. In some areas with very hot weather or warm weather, maybe metabolism in one's body happens very quickly, very intensively, so that the lifespan will be shortened. So I guess cold water, if we drink more cold water, we will live longer. If we drink hot water, our life will the metabolism in our body will be accelerated, so that our lifespan will be shortened. So do you think it's reasonable or logical?
If you're right, I'm going to live a very long time.
At least this is one. So it sounds like very logical and reasonable. But anyway, we still need some scientists give us scientific answers about cold water or warm water is better. Yeah, this is a very common phenomenon. Everyone may care about this issue. Okay, about the first topic, do you think it's okay? Let's move to the next one. Okay, let's move to the second topic. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, the second. Why do Americans have so many private guns? It's said that today I heard a piece of news that American people, a lot of people want to buy guns and even out of sale So very crazy, very terrible. What's happening in America these days? Please tell us.
So, okay, gun ownership in America goes back to before it was a country. In fact, guns in the hands of private citizens is as old as the Roman Empire. And the Romans wanted to be able to arm. Now, of course, they didn't have guns, but they had weapons. The weapons for the private citizens would enable the Roman Empire to quickly create armies. And that carried over into England. And in England, they too, in the early days of the country, believed in the ability to arm the citizens in case the government, they were fearful that the government might do something and they would have to protect themselves. So that history came to the United States before it was a country. The people felt that it was extremely important to have these guns, to have protection, not from each other, not back then. 250 years ago, they weren't thinking about protection from each other. They were thinking about protection from a possibly, scary government. So they said, okay, every citizen, if they want, can have a gun or more guns. Some people own many guns. In the picture, in the PowerPoint, that some people have that in their house.
Really?
Who needs?
So on average, how many guns for one family? Almost every family has gun, or 1%?
In the U.S. Okay, so in the U.S. there are 327 million people.
So totally, the population of American is about
327 million.
320 million. Wow, so many guns. So American is not.
For guns, we have almost 400 million guns.
400 million guns. So on average, almost every family has gun.
Well, for every for every 100 people, there are 120 guns.
Wow.
Yes, more guns than people.
Okay.
But very important to understand that a small percentage of Americans, or not, I should say, smaller than you think. It's not 100% of Americans have guns. In the typical household, maybe 2/3 of Americans have guns. But the ones who own guns usually own multiple guns.
Yeah.
And what happened is over the last 200 years, we became a country that is very afraid of everything. We are afraid of, people attacking the country. We are afraid of people attacking their neighbors. And so there are gun owners that they think every day that someone, somewhere, don't know who, could attack them. And their argument is, I need to protect myself from this mysterious attacker that has never showed up at my house ever. But need many guns just in case.
Mm.
There are also many Americans that have no guns. I served in the U.S. Army, and I have no guns. I don't really care about them. I don't think I need them, and I don't think they're really necessary. But because the U.S. Constitution says in its Second Amendment that you can keep guns. You have the right to keep and bear arms. And many, many Americans do. Millions. So it's about partly about protection, partly about fear, but a little bit crazy.
So can you tell me the permission? If one person, for example, if I want to have a gun, so can I get some? The gun must be issued by a certain special authority, or what kind of a permission? Can you tell us?
It depends. It depends on the state. Each state is different.
For example,
some states, so some states like New Hampshire have much easier requirements. You go to the local office.
Yeah.
You fill out paperwork, and they do a very quick check. It's a U.S. government background check, and they issue your license. In other states, it's more rigorous, requires more time. And certain types of people aren't allowed to have guns.
Okay.
For example, former criminals. In certain states, if you ever went to prison, you cannot have a gun. But it depends on the state.
Okay.
And so there's two levels: state, federal.
And across the country.
Says they have their own laws.
Yeah.
And federal has its own laws. But it's pretty easy in the U.S. to get permit to carry a weapon. And we have two types. One is that you can own the weapon. The second is that you can, it's a special permit that allows you to carry the weapon on your person, either in the open, like on your belt, or what we call concealed, which is hidden, maybe under your jacket.
Wow.
So it depends again on the state, and each state is a little different. Oh, I should mention, just because you have your license in one state, if you travel in a car with your guns, each time you enter a new state, Massachusetts, New York, Florida, any, you must abide by the laws of that state. So, for example, in Massachusetts, they require that the gun and the ammunition are kept separate. For example, maybe gun in your trunk in the back of your car, maybe ammunition in the box, glove box in the front of your car. So as a New Hampshire resident, if I drive into Massachusetts, I must abide by Massachusetts law.
Yeah.
But I don't have a gun permit, and I don't have guns.
Let me ask another question. I remember when I went to many countries like Uganda, Ethiopia, Sri Lanka, no matter African countries or some Costa Rica, Middle American country, or Southeast country like Sri Lanka. in many places, as long as we went to some government organization buildings, or when we went to some hotels, some very luxurious hotels or very advanced hotels, they will check if we have gun. This is a must for us to enter into one hotel. So in America, where it's forbidden, it's banned. It will ban people not to bring gun into some places. Where it's okay, where it's not allowed.
So it depends on the state, and it depends on the property. So, for example, a courthouse. Many courthouses do not allow weapons unless you are a police officer or with law enforcement. The federal buildings, many federal buildings do not allow weapons unless you are law enforcement. However, in some states, you can bring your gun into the supermarket. I don't know why. Maybe you're afraid you'll get attacked by bananas. I don't know. But, they do in some states allow this. So you can see photographs of people, usually men, not always, but usually men, standing in a supermarket with a gun. It's crazy. But not in every state. Only in states that allow this.
Okay, I'm wondering one question about the damage and mortality. That's to say, every year or in the past 5 or 10 years, do you know how many people were killed by the private guns? Or can you give us the, as your estimation? You just guess as your common knowledge.
Well, I can tell you. Let me see here. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look up a quick figure for you. So this is for 2018. Let's see what it says. I'm waiting for the computer. So it says, okay. In let's see, the most single-year gun deaths in half a century. The increase was so in 2018 alone. There were over 29,000 gun injuries. That means someone stupid. They might have done something with their weapon incorrectly, improperly, and they hurt themselves. For gun deaths, let's see. Gun deaths in 2018, there were almost 15,000 gun deaths. Unfortunately, in recent years, it has become much more common to have shootings where an armed person goes into a school or place of work or public space and just start shooting people. It's not, you won't hear about this every day. It's not like it happens every day. But now in the U.S., this happens several times per year.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate because people have such easy access to guns that there's a person that has no history of is usually the person that buys a gun because the government says, oh, okay, you're not a criminal. Here's a permit so you can own a gun. And then they go crazy and they kill people. So in Las Vegas, just a couple of years ago, an older man had a bunch of guns. He brought them to a hotel. He sat in the window of the hotel and waited until a concert, a music concert, began downstairs. And he started shooting people.
Wow. How many people died?
Yeah. I think it was a few dozen. I will get the figure for you. And this man, if you ask people, did he seem crazy? No, he didn't seem crazy. Well, he had several guns. He had several. So when he ran out of ammunition with one gun, he picked up another one and kept shooting people. It was one of the worst tragedies for shootings in the recent American history. Let me just see if it comes up. Las Vegas shooting deaths. I will get the figure for you, but it was dozens of people died that day in that shooting. But my point is, because in America we have so many guns and such easy access to guns, something like this is possible. Oh, here's the number. That day, October 1st, 2017, he killed 58 people.
58? So maybe he have many guns or a lot of bullets.
Oh, many guns and bullets.
Oh, wow.
And he wounded 413 more.
Oh. Usually, how many guns people usually are allowed for one person?
There's no limit. There's no limit.
No limit. You can have as long as you like it, no matter how many.
Some of the very, very crazy ones have hundreds of guns.
Wow.
Hundreds. It's like their house looks like a store where you buy guns. Their house.
Like the picture you show here.
Yeah, unfortunately, they come up with many reasons. I disagree, but they come up with many reasons for why they should have these guns, why they feel they must have these guns. But it's very difficult to come up with a good reason why you need so many guns.
Okay.
I just don't, and I'm former military, and I don't even care about guns. If I never own a gun, that's fine.
Maybe let's think about the reason why people need the gun. Most people maybe just want to protect themselves. Some people want to maybe to revenge others. Some people may want to commit suicide. So can you tell me what's the most reason? How about the percentage? Why people have the keep guns, private guns?
The number one reason is that the claim is that they're protecting themselves from the government doing things they don't like. Let's say if the U.S. government decided to tell everyone in America, we're going to come take your guns. Good luck with that, because these people would rather die than give up their guns. So they claim that it's because they want to protect themselves from the government, but they claim that they want to protect themselves from each other. And maybe if none of them owned guns, they wouldn't need guns. But when you let every crazy person have a gun, okay, maybe you need guns.
No, some people may no reason, just follow other people.
Yeah. They go, oh, he has a gun. I think now I need a gun. And I think that when you have more guns than people, that's a problem. Maybe you're a little bit crazy.
So I can tell you some of my personal experience. I went to many countries. For example, in Pakistan. In Pakistan, when we organized a lot of Chinese investors and mineral exploration companies to purchase to mineral exploration, and because the project is very huge, and the owner was government, very top government official, so. For just one Iron Man, about 200 policemen guarded us. And every day when we were sleeping on the roof, maybe still some policemen guarded outside. And when we went out to go to a restaurant, outside 8 policemen stand outside and keep us safe. And so my question is, keeping private guns let us much safer, or you think some dangerous? Just as far as your personal opinion is concerned, you support or?
No, I don't support. I think that there isn't a need in modern society for this many guns. We have a police force that is completely armed. They all have guns. The entire police force in all of the United States. We have a military that spends nearly $1 trillion a year on weapons, which is crazy. But we have so much already that you really don't need to have this many guns in the hands of people. And I would say many of these people, they may be very nice people.
Okay.
But all it takes is for them to be upset one day, maybe a little bit crazy one day. Maybe they had an argument with their wife. Maybe they don't like their boss. And suddenly they have guns. That usually does not work very well. Someone ends up dead. And that's preventable. So, I trained on many weapons when I was in the Army. But I just don't care about owning any. I see it as not the proper tools for a modern society, especially a society that we claim to be free.
Okay.
So, it seems unnecessary.
If there were a chance for you to replace President Trump, President Donald Trump, so do you think you will ban the gun, private gun, or not? We just think about it, imagine by our imagination.
You mean if we replace?
If you one day, if you become president of United States, like Trump, do you think you will ban the gun or still agree to keep guns?
Well, I would tell people that they're crazy and that they don't need them, but then they would tell me, try to take my gun and I will shoot you. So,
anyway, I'm in China. I think it's very safe because we know most people don't have guns, so everyone is safe.
I tell my American friends that I feel more safe in Beijing or Shanghai at 2 o'clock in the morning than I do at 12 p.m. in New York City. because in China, I don't have to worry about a bunch of people who have guns or other weapons, and that one day they decide that they're going to go crazy, and now I have to worry about my safety or my family's safety. I don't feel that way in the big cities of China, but big American cities,
you are not too sure.
People have, it's not every day, but people have shootouts with the police. They shoot at the police.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't happen every day, but it does happen, and it's crazy. But if I could, I would change that. But Americans, the Americans that own guns, they will never give them up. They would rather die.
Okay, that's good. Now let's move to the next topic. Is it okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Why does the U.S. have flags everywhere? Okay, please.
We're crazy.
Yeah.
So people judge how much, or they think that they can display how much they love this country by having lots of flags. To me, the flag is just a symbol. That's it. I don't really think about it. It's just a symbol, and so I don't fly a flag. I don't wear clothing that has flags on it. I don't drink from cups that have flags on them. Much like the guns, I think it's a little bit crazy. You can be a good citizen of your country without...
Somebody wanted to exhibit their patriotic. Yeah?
It's like, look at how American I am. I have many flags. The funny part about these people is usually, not always, but usually, the people who have more flags are the very first people that will run and hide.
Yes.
Something truly bad happens. If they need to protect their community, if they need to protect their family, the flags are nothing more than, it's like someone who is all talk but no action. And so I don't need to fly a flag. I show my respect in the way that I behave. And so unfortunately though, there are millions of Americans who they have flag on their house, flag on their car, flag on their shirt, flag on their hat. Look at all of my flags. I like to call it fake patriotism.
Okay.
Because it's all appearance and no action. Okay,
may I ask you one a little bit sensitive question? I read a piece of news that when I was studying in the United States in Miami University, some of my colleagues, some of my classmates mentioned, somebody burned the flags. When they were not very happy, they burned the flags. But still doesn't matter. The policeman didn't think he is a criminal. So seems that not very bad. But in China, maybe it's not allowed. If you burn the flag in some public places, that means it's very terrible. Even maybe you are regarded as a criminal. So even some people burn the flag in front of the Congress, American Congress. Still he was not arrested by policemen. Do you think it's true or not?
Oh, it's definitely true. The free speech,
Free
burning a
speech.
flag is protected under free speech. So think of it this way: it's an expression of how you feel. And if you are mad, if you're angry, maybe you don't like the current. We didn't like the current Congress. Somebody might choose to burn the flag to say, hey, I don't like this. I disagree with you. So how is it viewed? It's not criminal. It's protected. You can do this, but people will still look at it with disrespect. So many people will say, "Oh, that was so disrespectful. Why burn the flag?" But you cannot be arrested for it. So it's more about the morality than about the legality.
Okay. This is about morality, not legality. Okay.
Yeah, show respect, right? Again, people who burn it, the other people will say, "Oh, very disrespectful to soldiers, to the ancestors, just very disrespectful." But they have the right to do it if they want to do it.
Yes. About this point, it's totally different from China. We cannot give more remarks here, but as far, at least I can say, it's different from Chinese culture. And maybe half a year ago, last year, my wife went to America twice, and once he went to visit the Congress. He found some people maybe have use one slogan and said against Trump, just in front of Congress. Still doesn't matter. Some people say he is shouting or crying in front of the Congress. Doesn't matter. You can do it. You just do it. But I still visit other places. So you do what you like. I just visit my place. Doesn't matter. And the policeman, the country, still allow him to do this in such a very important place.
Well, we say that you are free to say what you want, but you are not free from the consequences.
Oh.
So, for example, if you want to say something very hurtful and very hateful to someone else, you can. But if they decide to punch you in the face, well, you probably deserved it.
Yes.
So you can say it. You're free to say it. But if something happens afterwards, if for example, if you own a store, you own a supermarket, and you decide to say on social media, I hate, a particular kind of people, like I hate Italians. If you do that, then the other Americans will say, "Oh, I won't shop at your store, ever." So you're free to say you hate Italians, but when all of your customers disappear,
You will not happy.
that's the consequence. That's the consequence. So you are free to say what you want, but you are not free from the consequences.
Yes. You can say, but you must deserve certain result.
Oh, social media?
Yeah.
Social media today is like a court. It's like a legal court.
Legal court.
People will judge you. They will decide if they will do business with you.
Yeah.
Or stop doing business with you.
Yeah.
They will decide if they will, hold signs out in front of your business to protest. And there's nothing that you can do to stop it, especially if you said something that caused people to dislike you so much. So in a way, even though we have this free speech, you have to think carefully about what you say.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I should mention that while you can burn a flag, you cannot threaten harm to other people. So you can't threaten harm to your neighbors. You can't threaten your president. You can't threaten Congress. If you do, that's not protected. You will go to jail.
Yeah, I remember something happened last year to President Trump. That is, one journalist assumed him to on the court, and he maybe a lot of journalists participated in certain meeting or conference. Maybe President Trump was not very happy and asked some policemen and asked him to get away or something. It happened later. Even some journalist or some TV host have the right to criticize or scold president or to assume them on the court. So about this point, it seems also very different from those in China.
Well, now keep in mind, though, usually most presidents of the U.S., most presidents they don't say anything about, if a journalist wants to ask questions, most presidents will either answer the question or ignore the question.
Yeah.
Trump is very different. He hates journalists. And what he has done is he limits their access.
Oh, limits the access.
Yes. If he doesn't like that journalist, he just says,
"Oh, you are not allowed to come. Keep outside."
Yeah. Which is very different. That is highly unusual in the U.S. And the people don't like that he does this. But he's the president.
He has no way. He have to face up to the issue.
Yeah, it's impossible. The U.S. president is untouchable. It's crazy. But yeah, he can tell you are no longer invited, and that's it.
So anyway, flag just from this point, American and China are totally different. Between the two countries.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Some differences there. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's move to the next topic. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Why do American pharmacies sell so many products that are not drugs?
So this is very different than China. When you go into a pharmacy in China, it's medicine.
Yeah.
That's it. Medicine is what the pharmacy sells. In the U.S., there's no restriction. They can sell anything in a pharmacy. You can buy toys. You can buy food. You can buy makeup. A pharmacy is more like a convenience store.
Okay.
Happens to also sell medicine. It's like Imagine if Watson's sold medicine.
Convenience store.
The convenience store, yeah. Imagine if Miniso sold medicine.
Why? It's totally different. And medicine, drugs, any difference between the two words, medicine and drugs? Can you tell us a little bit explanation?
We use them interchangeably. Usually, medicine and drugs are used interchangeably, but often an English speaker, when they're talking about healing, they will choose the word medicine mostly. When they are talking about illegal, they will
addicted to
drugs.
Drugs.
Yes, nobody says addicted to medicine.
Addicted to drugs.
And nobody says to their child, here, come here, I'm going to give you some drugs.
Just medicine.
So even though they mean basically, it's the same. It's there are two ways to say the same thing, but it depends on context.
Okay, let me ask one question about drugs. Maybe a couple of years ago in Canada, farmers are allowed to plant marijuana. So a lot of people invest money into marijuana industry. So how about drugs, marijuana in America? So people are also allowed to plant marijuana or not?
Well, over 30 of the 50 states have legalized marijuana now. Approximately 20 have not. Mostly they do it because of the money. It is a big industry. It generates a lot of money. And the states, when they began to figure out, wow, we can tax this income and generate enormous tax revenue. Many states said, okay, we'll make it legal, and we'll tax it, and we will use the tax to build schools, to build roads, to do other things. So even this state, the state that I live in, New Hampshire, it just recently legalized, just recently. But Massachusetts, which is south, one state south of here, it has been legal there for much longer. So yeah, it's I should mention, at the federal level, it's still illegal.
Still illegal.
Because yes, so the federal government likes to confuse people. So if a state says it's legal and the federal government says it's illegal, that creates an interesting situation. It means that if you're caught marijuana by a policeman from the state, they will not arrest you. If you are caught by a federal agent of the United States government, they will arrest you.
Okay. Question. Would you like to tell me the differences between marijuana and opium? What's the difference? What's the differences between the two words?
The opiates are highly addictive. In fact, here in the U.S., the opioid problem is massive. So many people die from these drugs. What happens usually is opioids are very powerful. And when you get hurt badly, an accident, let's say you break your leg,
in surgery you need drugs.
Well, usually the hospital will prescribe strong pain medication, but these pain medications can be highly addictive. So even though you didn't take drugs before, but you got hurt. And the hospital began giving you these drugs, you become addicted. And it's a huge problem here. But marijuana doesn't have quite that effect. They're both Class D substances, according to federal government, but two very different kinds of drugs. And the opioid, let me put it this way, marijuana usually will not kill you. Opioids will kill you.
Okay.
If you overdose. And these people in the U.S. that take them, they usually take too much. And we call it overdose, too high of a dose.
Okay.
And they die. There have been cases where police would find a car that inside there is a child in the back seat alive, and in the front seat both parents dead from overdose. That's how serious a problem it is in the U.S. Very dangerous narcotics.
Okay. I can tell you one joke. I remember 2 years ago when the Canada government allowed people to plant marijuana. Some Chinese people mentioned in Chinese history, we know in 1840 and 1842 opium war 1 and opium war 2 took place in China, and at that time a lot of Western countries sold their opiums to China and got a lot of silver. But nowadays a lot of Western countries they may plant these drugs, marijuana, to keep themselves. So a lot of people feel it's so funny. That is maybe it took place in 2 years ago. But now, as we know, marijuana can be used in surgery in the hospital. Also very useful. I think it's reasonable.
What they do, what the science has done is separate the drug into two parts. One part is medicinal.
Medicinal,
and
okay.
The other part is more hallucinogen, meaning it's more drug-like. So they, in the industry here in the U.S., they separate it and they sell what they call CBD. It's a cannabinoid. It's they sell it separately for medicinal purposes to treat different kinds of pain, epilepsy, Alzheimer's. They try to treat many different kinds of things with it. I couldn't tell you how effective any of it is. I don't have that expertise, but it has become a huge industry here. But it's not going to go away. It will. The other 20 states and the federal government will eventually approve it, and that's what is ahead in the future.
Okay, got it. And can you tell me the differences between the three words, liquor, alcohol, and wine, and corresponding law regulations or rules? At what kind of age people are allowed to get liquor and wine and alcohol?
So it depends. At one time, there was 18 years old. Then it was moved to 21 years old. So currently in the U.S., 21 years old before you can buy and consume alcohol in public. In your house, if your parents want to give you alcohol and you're 10 years old, technically they could, but if anybody found out, they could get in trouble for it.
What kind of trouble? Just morally scolded by somebody, or illegally and by policemen, the punishment?
The states love to get involved in people's lives. So the state would, each state has an agency, Department of Child Services, and they would probably get involved and ask the parent why. Why did you give it? And then if they decide, they could take that child out of that home if they feel that the child's well-being is in trouble.
Oh.
Yeah, they. But if nobody knew, you could do such a thing. You know, let's say you come from a culture like France, where it's common that younger people can drink. If a French family moved to the U.S. And wants to serve wine to their, teenager, and they can do it. If nobody knows, nobody gets in trouble. But they're technically not supposed to do it. 21.
21. Okay.
And the difference, alcohol is the word that we use for all types of, liquor type.
Even beer?
Beer, that's all we call it alcohol. However, then we have specific types of alcohol. Beer, wine, and hard liquor, which would be whiskey, vodka, rum, things like that. Those are your three types of alcohol that we generically refer to as alcohol.
Okay. So totally different from Chinese people about liquor. In China, maybe not legally without a very special limitation. Okay, let's move to next one. About why are food portion sizes in the US so enormous? Okay, give remarks, please.
They used to be. If you look
some people maybe feel hungry. Maybe.
No. Well, first, it wasn't always big. If you look at the picture in the center, in 1955, so 65 years ago, hamburgers were small. Now, hamburgers, 65 years later, are enormous. Part of it is that in American culture, we have this crazy idea that bigger, it's always better. Bigger car, bigger house, bigger sandwich, bigger plate of food, bigger drink, everything.
Okay.
And it's, I don't know why we think this way. It happened over time. When I was young, plates of food were not huge. They were small. But I think that many restaurants compete, and they want you to think, oh, hey, if you come to our restaurant, we'll give you more for your money. So they end up, making bigger and bigger portions, bigger plates. And over time, they've become crazy. I mean, the size of a pizza, the size of a hamburger. Some places it is so big that you could feed 4-5 people with, one dish. But it happened over a long period of time. Also, now there's obesity in the U.S. Quite a long time, maybe last 20 years, maybe 30 years. People just eat too much. We have this culture where we don't want to waste food. So our parents, when we're kids, when we're young, our parents tell us, eat everything on your plate.
Yes.
Your food. Don't waste. So when the portions get bigger and your parents tell you, eat everything on your plate.
I can tell you one investigation. I remember maybe several months ago I read a piece of news that some people was very wondering when we go to cinema. A lot of people, maybe we can say the cinema will provide the popcorn. Can you guess in what kind of situation people will eat a lot of popcorn or a very small? What factor is most important, the decisive? He made a lot of tests. Firstly, can you imagine what kind of reason? Some people say, maybe if the movie is very wonderful, people will eat a lot of popcorn. This is one possibility. The second, they may the popcorn tastes different. The flavor decide people will eat a lot or not. Finally, people get a result that actually, no matter all of the above reasons are not main reason. Only one reason. That is depend on how the size of the cup. If the size is very huge, no matter small or huge, usually people will eat out all of them. So the decisive factor is the size of the popcorn cup. If it's large, then people can eat all of them. If it's not large enough, if he has got this one, no matter large or small, he can eat most of them for most people. And the second investigation result, no matter in McDonald's or KFC or cinema, he found usually in KFC you can find the storekeeper is very wise. He may give you three options: one bigger one, medium one, and a small one. A lot of people may choose medium one, or at least more than 60%. Another 20% maybe the largest one, and 20% about the small one. So these sales girls are very smart. Always give you three options: larger, medium, small. Not sometimes coffee, sometimes about the hamburger. Always give you different size. So if you are trying to be a salesman, you can also think about this idea.
Yes, in fact, there's scientific studies that show that if you have a very profitable product, let's say you have a hamburger.
Yeah.
And this particular hamburger is extremely profitable.
Yeah.
Your net profit, let's say, is 20-30% on this hamburger.
Yeah.
Scientists in the field of behavioral economics,
Yeah.
they will tell you, put a new item on your menu that is more expensive than your most profitable item. So let's say that your hamburger is $10. It's your most profitable hamburger. They will tell you, put a new hamburger that is maybe $12, $13 on your menu. The reason is when most people, about 2/3 of people, when they order, they will always choose the second most expensive item. They won't choose the most expensive. They'll choose the next one down. So by having $10 burger and then make $12 burger, they're going to, without realizing it, choose the lower priced item. So when you see small, medium, and large, there's science behind coming up with which products to make small, medium, or large based on profitability. And that middle item is usually the most profitable size or most profitable type of product. There's actual science behind it now.
Intuitive. Okay.
Now they have,
must calculate which is better.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you can use this same technique when you sell things like houses.
Yeah.
If you have a house you are trying to sell, you want to show your customer another house.
Yeah.
It's more expensive, and you can manipulate.
Trust. Shop can trust.
Consumer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can manipulate their buying habit because we are. It's built in to the way that the human mind works, and it's crazy. It's so predictable that scientists have shown that approximately 2/3 of people have this behavior. That's amazing. 2 out of 3. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So portion size in the U.S. is it's just restaurants competing for want to attract you, and know that Americans like big, and not all Americans, but many.
Okay.
And so they want to give you the biggest possible product for the least possible money.
Okay, great. Okay, let's move to the next one. Why do Americans tips for service? Now let me remind our audience right now. 那么这个主题呢是讲美国人为什么为各种服务呢提供小费。那我们今天的这个演讲呢，如果大家觉得我们讲的地方对大家有用，大家有高兴的话，也可以给我们一些小费，或者给打赏。那么就在你的听的这个左下角这儿有个赏字，你也可以进行打赏。大家有什么疑问或者有什么讨论的，你也可以在这个问题区这儿来提问，在这窗口公屏上来提问，随时欢迎大家。同时，你如果觉得这一个讲的不错的话，你也可以转发到你的朋友圈或者是你的同事圈里头或者家人圈里头，让他们可以提高外语，也了解美国的文化。特别感谢大家。那有问题可以随时这儿再提问。Okay, let's continue to talk about the topic. Why do Americans tip for service, please?
So, unlike in China, throughout Asia, Europe, where employees are generally paid a full wage, meaning whatever the minimum wage might be, but they are paid for the full amount. Let's say that person makes 10 RMB an hour per hour. In the U.S., they do not pay in many industries, including restaurant, maid service, trying to think of certain kinds of like shoe shine. You know, if somebody does shining shoes on the street.
Yes.
They do not receive a full wage. Usually, they receive a lot less. Let's say, for example, in the U.S., minimum wage is approximately $7.50 or so
per hour.
Around there.
Per hour.
Per hour.
Yeah.
However, if you are a waitress at a restaurant, you might receive $2 per hour.
Wow, very less.
From your employer, and you make up the difference in tips. So if you don't receive tips, you don't really get a full wage. So the thinking in the U.S., which I do not agree with, but this is the way it has been for a long time. In fact, tipping, in the U.S., we borrowed that idea from the English. It started in England in the 1700s. But it's as old as the United States. And basically, we believe that, or some of us believe that if you do a good job, we will give you a better tip. We will give you more money.
Sounds reasonable for most people. To encourage him to better, provide much better service.
Yes. The idea is maybe you get better service. Or maybe you just like to brag. You know, oh, look, I gave a big tip because I earned so much money that I can give a very big tip. There are many reasons. There are many reasons why Americans tip. But in reality, the people who should give tips, the customer, don't always give tips. Or give horrible tips. So even if you provide excellent service, there is no guarantee that your customer will give you a tip.
Right.
Or they might give you a very poor tip.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends on the client's, the customer's emotion. If he is happy, of course, he can give a lot. If he is unhappy, okay, maybe because of some reason else, maybe give you little. And also sometimes it depends on he's rich or not. Or if he is not rich, he cannot provide a tip. Maybe also it depends on he's generous or very mean. If he is very stingy, very mean, maybe he doesn't like to give a lot of tips. Too many reasons may affect the tips.
The challenge that we have today in America is that many of us believe that we should change the system, that we should pay normal wage to these workers and just get rid of tips and not use tips anymore. But so many millions of Americans depend on tips today. And these employers don't want to pay more. So in a sense, when you go out to eat, you're not only paying the restaurant, but you're paying part of the wage that the restaurant was supposed to pay.
Yeah.
But they don't. So in a sense, your meal costs much more because you're picking up the bill for the company that owns the restaurant that should be paying a better wage to employees. So those are the two camps. You know, one camp says if you tip, you might get better service.
Yeah.
the other camp says, no, just pay a fair wage and don't rely on tips. And that way, if you get a mean customer, he can't punish anyone. Of course, it means if you get a generous customer, if he's not allowed to give tips, then that is awful. But if he's allowed to still give tips,
case by case, depends.
Case by case. So we will see. Right now, our system is that we must tip, or not that we must, but that we have a moral obligation to tip, because these workers make so little wage.
Right.
So that's why we tip.
Yeah, tip. When we go to different countries, we find the different local people have different habits. Some people have formed the habit of giving tips, but some not. In China, occasionally some people also give tips, but not as many as those people in America. So I like tips. I think it's because if we provide a service to somebody, some people can timely find out if it's worthy or not. Our service quality is high or not very high. This is a good response. And anyway, today the time is almost. Our conversation has lasted about 1 hour and 1.5 hours. So, would you like to summarize today's conversation and give our English lovers some suggestions or something, please?
Sure. The first thing is what you see on television and what you see in the movies is not a good representation of real life in America. Those movies and those TV shows are written by movie makers, by producers, by writers. So they tend to tell a story the way that they want to tell a story. The information that I gave you today is the reality. This is the way these things work in America. I've lived my whole life here. So a lot of the kinds of videos that we're doing, it's not about fiction, not about the fake things that happen in movies and TV shows. It's about real American life and real American language. So hopefully we have many more great topics to discuss, and we will do this again in a separate video. And introduce you to more American culture and more English language.
Also, let's look forward to the feedback from our audience and see what's the remarks. Of course, everyone can leave messages here, and we can see it. So today, so much for today, and let's say goodbye, and maybe tomorrow morning, let's see. Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye bye. 也希望我们每一个朋友呢能够转发今天的这个视频。